पितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम् वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरो वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातां सहगणा रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगणा ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितंश्च नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषशून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे Hare Krishna. So today is a special occasion again. Today is not a special occasion in terms of spirituality. For devotees, every day is a special occasion. But today is a which day? And I guess many of you have holiday for some special occasion. What is the day today?
Maharashtra Day.
Okay, Maharashtra Day. And any other day also today?
International Workers' Day.
International Laborers Day. So congratulations for being laborers and for workers, for your companies and others. So if you see the track back the history of these 2 days, today Maharashtra Day means today Maharashtra and Gujarat got independent. So independent means they had a fight and quarrels and they wanted to separate. That is called as independence. Independence means quarrels. So they got separated. And today is also Labor's Day. So Labor's Day is also a day when there were a lot of quarrels, strikes, Hamari Mangi Pure Karo, and a lot of revolutions. So just to pacify them and recognize their contribution, the Labor Days are celebrated so that you Hamari Mange Puri Karo. But if you see in Krishna consciousness, a devotee has a very different perspective. It is not Hamari Mange Puri Karo. भगवान हम आपकी मांगे पूरी करेंगे. That is called as Krishna Conscious Day. So devotee is always very eager to fulfill the desires of the Lord and not too much eager that whether Lord fulfills his desires or not. That is totally opposed to material life. Krishna consciousness is totally opposite of this. So that is the definition of love. So before we start, just quick recollection from yesterday's class, some vital points, any discussions. So whatever we discussed yesterday. So any just quick brief recap from whatever we discussed. Anybody would like to begin and start some point where we started yesterday? Any point from purport or discussion you can share.
Okay. So yesterday we discussed about three types of doer: the jiva, the prakriti, and the super soul. And we discussed that how by understanding this knowledge our lives can transform. And we saw different perspectives from different devotees that how the life will be transformed if we understand this knowledge about the three types of doer.
Yes, very good. Thank you, Prabhu. Any other discussions?
Guruji, we have seen yesterday that we are not a doer. Actually, Paramatma is a sanction our desires, and Jiva only have a desires, Paramatma sanctions, and Prakriti performs.
Yeah, the tripod of the action. Jiva, Prakriti, Ishwar. Thank you, Prabhu. Shriram Prabhu. Any other recollections from yesterday?
Hare Krishna. So one point we discussed that does this destiny defines our actions? So in that point you explained that destiny only defines the consequences, but not the actions.
Yeah. Thank you. That was a very nice point. Destiny. It is who sometimes people ask, can we make our destiny or destiny makes us? So destiny, actually we can make our destiny. It is a destiny will just tell the upcoming situations in your life. But by our current actions, we can change the destiny. Yes, Alkesh Proji.
Yes, Prabhu. So I have a question here. जैसे हम कहते हैं कि कोई भी एक्शन जैसे भगवान नहीं करते हैं, भगवान जस्ट सैंक्शन करते हैं। बट महाभारत में जैसे हम देखते हैं कि जैसे भगवान एक इवेंट में जैसे सूर्य को पहले डुबा देते हैं वो जयद्रथ को मारने के लिए, तो उसमें तो भगवान खुद ही वो एक्शन परफॉर्म कर रहे हैं, तो उसको हम कैसे देख सकते हैं प्रभु?
भगवान खुद एक्शन करता है, भगवान की डिजायर सफिशिएंट है। वैसे तो भगवान ने बहुत सारे एक्शन किए, हम लोगों को भी क्रिएट किया है, मटेरियल वर्ल्ड को भी क्रिएट किया है। तो ही सेड उनका एक्शन और हमारा एक्शन जो है, तो इसलिए दैट्स वाई जन्म कर्म चमे दिव्यम एवं यो वेति तत्वता। तो श्लोक में ऐसे नहीं बोला है कि भगवान कोई कर्म नहीं करते, भगवान कुछ नहीं करते, भगवान मटेरियल एक्शन नहीं करते, भगवान मटेरियल गुण नहीं है। तो यहाँ पे डिफरेंस है। तो यहाँ पे भी अगर आप देखो, भगवान को एक्चुअली डायरेक्टली कुछ करने का जरूरत नहीं है। भगवान इवन इसके थर्ड चैप्टर में कहते हैं, आइडियली मुझे कोई एक्शन करने का जरूरत नहीं है तो भी मैं एक्शन करता हूँ। क्यों? ताकि इस दुनिया में एक एग्जाम्पल सेट करने के लिए। सो हियर वी फाइंड दैट भगवान जो है सूरज को ढक रहे हैं, तो भगवान का डिजायर सफिशियंट है। भगवान का डिजायर सफिशियंट है, प्रकृति सब कुछ कर देती है। वृंदावन में भी वैसा ही है, भगवान का डिजायर होता है, बाकी योग माया पोटेंसी सब कुछ फुलफिल कर देती है। सो सो whenever we say that भगवान कोई रूप नहीं है, भगवान कोई एक्शन नहीं करते, तो इट इज मेनली अबाउट एनी मटेरियल एक्शन नहीं करते, भगवान का मटेरियल रूप नहीं है, भगवान की कोई मटेरियल एक्टिविटीज नहीं है। लेकिन जन्म कर्म चमे दिव्यम तो है ही। सो इट इज सेड।
भगवान एक्शन करते हैं, भगवान भोग भी करते हैं।
Okay, so some devotees have shared on the chat. Maharaj said, okay, if we mentally renounce all actions, we can happily reside in the material body. Okay, so we have to become Manasa Sannyasi, Manas Sannyasi. Accept the things that cannot be changed and alter the things that can be changed. Very good, nice. Maharaj said, okay, very good. 3 doers in any activity. Okay. So now, before we start for today, I just thought to share, all of us in our life, we have two kinds of goal. Whenever we are doing so many actions, like because most of you are like here working devotees here, and uh, I was just today morning listening one very special class by Rampuja Bhakti Rasamrit Maharaj. Bhakti Rasamrit Maharaj was sharing there. This was a basic class. Like whenever I feel my morning program is getting weaker, sometimes I'm or some chanting is getting neglected, or morning थोड़ा सा उत्साह कम हो रहा है, I try to hear some classes by different speakers on morning program and all. So this topic was glories of morning program. So this was a very nice class by Radhanath Bhakti Rasamrit Maharaj, glories of morning program. And this lecture was given in some Melbourne or Sydney for the Western devotees. So this was mainly for Westerners. So Indians generally easily follow here, but still good to hear. So Maharaj was mentioning on one particular verse, Ya Nisha Sarva Bhutanam. So he mentioned about that how a night for a materialistic person is a day for spiritualist, and a day for a materialistic person is a night for spiritualist. So in that he was telling about how why it is important to do this morning program very nicely as a part of our daily routine. So that time in the course of discussion, Maharaj mentioned all of us in our life, we have some very, very long-term goals, right? We have a lot of big long-term goals are there. Suppose somebody may have a long-term goal called as career. He wants to have an established career. he wants to have a business, or he want to be a very fit person. That is his goal also, long-term goal. So it is a long-term goal for him that he want to have a good fitness, very healthy he wants to be, or he wants to have a high education, or he want to have a prosperity, lot of prosperity in the life, wants to be very rich, or he wants to open a, for a devotee, let's say he has a spiritual ambition, spiritual long-term goals. He wants to establish, open a temple or open a voice center at least. And then he has a big ambition that he wants to be a congregation leader or something like that. Whatever different goals which a devotee may have in his service to Lord. Now, when a devotee has these different goals, along with these big goals of the life, the long-term goals, it is very important that we have some short-term goals also, which fulfill this desire. So which like small short-term goals means what? Okay, somebody wants to do a career, good career, or he want to become a businessman. Then he at least have to, or he wants to have high education. Then it has to translate into some small goals on an everyday basis. Some habits. It has to transform into certain habits. Okay, he wants to have a good career. Okay, he should study regularly. He should have regular study, right? Or then he will join tuition classes. Or another option is he wants to have a very healthy body. So it is very good to have a good dreams in the life that he wants to have healthy body, healthy future and all. But no, he has to do some yoga asanas right now. If he doesn't do, he cannot expect that after 10-15 years, I will have a healthy body. Similarly, he wants to open a temple, right? Open temple in the future. No, at least start preaching right now. You cannot expect that preach, open a voice center at least, or at least conduct a program. So you see, all long-term goals of life, they come to correspond, they have an equivalent small habit which we do everyday routine. So big goal has to translate into everyday routine. Unless a big goal translates into a small routine, everyday routine, it is very difficult that we can achieve that goal. So every big goal has to translate into small routines. So then Maharaj was mentioning our uh, what we say, our one of the for as a devotees, our long-term goal or the biggest goal, the topmost goal which we have in our life is Krishna Prem and remembrance of Krishna 24/7. Now, if we have such a big goal in our life, unless this big goal translates into small daily habits. So he said one of the smallest habit, one of the most important habit which a devotee should develop is this morning program. Why? This is like a habit. Habit means what? Whether I like it, whether I don't like it, whether it is painful. So he said these are like Krishna Prem का एक सबसे पहला step है ये morning program. Why? Because in morning program he is remembering Krishna, he's distraction free, he is nicely calling out, genuinely calling out. So he said these are like, so Srila Prabhupada has very expertly given us this morning program that uh, that with keeping the topmost goal in the mind, that is Krishna Prem, now we can begin small. So every mile, every big distance which we want, every big achievement has a small beginning. So we have to take a small beginning. And this small beginning may appear, generally what happens over the due course of time, as we grow in Krishna consciousness, sometimes these things become so routine in our life, like morning program and all, that we neglect its importance. Oh, how does it matter if I miss Mangalarti? How does it matter if I miss Japa today? How does it matter? Okay, Shikshashtakam to ja raha hai. It may appear, but slowly it will become like a big habit. So every small activity, it is said it is gradually going to lead into big achievement in the life. So in short, every big goal has to translate into a smaller goal. So as we are discussing on the section of Nishkam Karma Yoga. So Nishkam Karma Yoga. So this entire fifth chapter begins with the two things. Whether Jnana is better or Nishkam Karma or Karma Yoga is better. And Arjuna, Krishna starts laughing. Krishna starts laughing at Arjuna and he says that, Arey, you're not understood only. Both are same. Initially he says both are same. That Karma Yoga is better and Jnana Yoga is also better. And Arjuna says, how both are better? Both are same. He said, if you understand the ultimate goal of both, then both are same. But in general, people cannot do Jnana. Jnana. So Jnana is for those people who are too frustrated in this life. And karma is for those people who are too attached to the material things. So now karma is for those people who are too attached to materialistic activities, they cannot give up. And jnana is for those people who are too detached from the material world. They are so frustrated that they don't want to. But he said we need a combination of both. So he says Nishkam Karma Yoga or Bhakti is a combination. Act also and yet be detached also. So act in the spirit of detachment. That is called as true sannyasi. So that discussion has been going on. And in yesterday's discussion, we also discussed about three kinds of doers. And if somebody gets the knowledge of three kinds of doers, then he'll be happily residing in the body of three gates, the nine gates. And now we come to the another section of Gita. So from verse number 17 to the rest of the chapter, again Krishna is going to speak about having getting the knowledge of three doers. After getting the knowledge of three doers, after understanding the importance of Nishkam Karma Yoga, now we have to plan to get mukti. How? How we should plan to get mukti? By focusing on Supreme Lord. While doing any kind of activity, fix your mind on the Supreme Lord. Tolerate the temptations that come. A lot of temptations will come. A lot of distractions may come in the life of a devotee. Material senses may create trouble. But he said, tolerate those temptations in life. And change your propensity to seek the pleasure from matter to spirit. So now earlier I was trying to enjoy matter. Now I want to find happiness in spirit. So he said, go from outward life to inward life. Earlier, a lot of we were looking for outward pleasures. Now, a yogi should look for an inward pleasure. So this is going to set a background now for the next chapter of Bhagavad Gita. And what is the next chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Prabhu? Who knows? The sixth chapter of Bhagavad Gita. What is the name of sixth chapter?
Dhyan Yoga.
Dhyan Yoga. So the background is going to be set that okay, yogi. Basically, Krishna is going to tell yogi bano. योगी आदित्यनाथ ने योगी बनो. योगी मतलब क्या? योगी का मतलब जो आनंद को अंदर आनंद की खोज में अंदर आनंद ढूंढता है. जो बाहर दो आनंद ढूंढता है वो भोगी कहलाता है. जो आनंद ढूंढ नहीं पाता वो रोगी कहलाता है. और जो अंदर आनंद ढूंढता है वो योगी कहलाता है. भोगी, रोगी और योगी. तो हमें सोचना है. हम कभी कभी रोगी बन जाते हैं क्योंकि फ्रस्ट्रेट हो जाते हैं, तो हम रोगी बन जाते हैं. और योगी मतलब जो अंदर आनंद ढूंढता है, और भोगी मतलब जो बाहर आनंद ढूंढता है. तो भोगी से लेके योगी बनिए. दैट इज कॉल्ड एज योग, द पाथ ऑफ योगा. So this is the next section of Gita which is going to start soon now, and that is called as how to attain liberation in life by focusing our attention on Supreme Lord. Okay, whose turn to read, Prabhu?
Prabhuji, Akshay Shinde Prabhu is there, but he is absent today.
Okay, last time also was absent, today also is absent. Okay.
Next,
Some 18th verse.
18 verse is Sandipan Prabhu.
Okay, please read.
This one is 17.
So you can read 17, 18 both.
Okay, please. Tad buddhayas atmanas tannishthas parayana gachanti apunar avrittim jnana nirdhuta kalmasha. Translation. When one's intelligence, mind, faith, and refuge are all fixed in the Supreme, then one becomes fully cleansed of misgivings through complete knowledge and thus proceeds straight on the path of liberation. Purport. The Supreme Transcendental Truth is Lord Krishna. The whole Bhagavad Gita centers around the declaration that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That is the version of all Vedic literature. Paratattva means the Supreme Reality, who is understood by the knowers of the Supreme as Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagavan. Bhagavan or the Supreme Personality of Godhead is the last word in the Absolute. There is nothing more than that. The Lord says, Matta Parataram Nanyat Kinchit Asti Dhananjaya. Impersonal Brahman is also supported by Krishna. Brahmano hi pratisthaham. Therefore, in all ways, Krishna is the supreme reality, one whose mind, intelligence, faith, and refuge are always in Krishna, or in other words, one who is fully in Krishna consciousness is undoubtedly washed clean of all misgivings and is in perfect knowledge in everything concerning transcendence. A Krishna conscious person can thoroughly understand that there is duality, simultaneous identity and individuality in Krishna, and equipped with such transcendental knowledge, one can make steady progress on the path of liberation.
You'd like to speak something about this or want to?
Yes, Pooja, like whatever I understand from this purport, Prabhupada is telling that Krishna, that the Supreme Person, that Krishna is the there are three levels of understanding the absolute truth. One is that impersonal Brahman, or then we have the Paramatma, and the last stage is the Bhagavan. But the understanding of the Bhagavan or the Supreme Personality of Godhead, that is the last understanding of the absolute. So one who has got this knowledge, so I think in previous verses, Prabhupada says that the student they are learning the same subject, but they are on different levels. Like the student who has understood Brahman, or one has understood Paramatma, one has understood the Supreme Personality of Godhead. They all are learning the same subject, but they are on different levels. So, but the ultimate understanding is that the Supreme Absolute Truth is a personality, and that is Krishna. So, and one who has fixed his mind, intelligence, and refuge. So then, in he can make steady progress in the path of liberation. So,
Yeah. So now, like till now, it has been spoken that how a gnani, by gnana one can get good knowledge. So is good knowledge. But Atma Gnan, only getting knowledge of our own body, our own senses, the nine gates, and all this, it is not sufficient for liberation. Because the ultimate goal for any kind of yoga is liberation. So here it is said that this knowledge itself is not sufficient. Atma Gnan is not itself sufficient. There is need of Paramatma Gnan. So along with Atma Gnan, there is the need of a Paramatma Gnan. So, and the Lord says, Bhaktya mam ekaya grahya. Krishna is only attainable by bhakti. So, jnanis also need to practice bhakti if they want to attain the knowledge of Paramatma. So, any kind of yoga, along with that, a bhakti element has to be added. Then only they can actually understand Lord in the proper truth. They can understand Bhagwan realization. So, the Vidya which is spoken here now, the knowledge of three kinds of doers and all this, that is mainly telling us about Jivatma. It is not telling about too much about Paramatma. Only thing we know is Paramatma is there. That much we know. But too much focus was there on the Jivatma. I am not this body, I am spirit soul. So Jnana may help to this extent only, but it is not sufficient for liberation. In order to get liberation, one should understand that there is a Paramatma also. And to realize Paramatma, there is the need of bhakti. There is a bhakti producing Paramatma realization is necessary for liberation. So this is the essence of this verse. And then one progresses. So now there is a one word which comes here, tat. So the word tat refers to the Supreme Lord. And it was mentioned previously in the another verse that Vibhu. Vibhu means, so the tat refers to that Supreme Lord who is also called as Vibhu. So Tad Buddhaya, Tad Atmanah, Tan Nishtha. So basically this shloka is speaking about Paramatma realization as very important. Now, a person who has understood a Paramatma realization, how it will make a difference in his life. Somebody who has understood that there is a Paramatma, what is the difference that it will make? What will be the vision? How he will see the world? if somebody sees Paramatma in everyone's heart, how he will see the world? So that is what the 18th shloka is going to speak. Okay, we'll recite the 18th shloka. Yes, bro, please read.
Yes, please. Vidya Vinaya Sampanne Brahmane Gavihastini Sunichaiva Swapakecha Pandita Samadarshina. Translation. The humble sages, by virtue of true knowledge, see with equal vision a learned and gentle Brahmana, a cow, an elephant, a dog, and a dog-eater outcast. Purport. A Krishna-conscious person does not make any distinction between species or caste. The Brahmana and the outcast may be different from the social point of view, or a dog, a cow, and an elephant may be different from the point of view of species, but these differences of body are meaningless from the viewpoint of a learned transcendentalist. This is due to their relationship to the Supreme. For the Supreme Lord, by his plenary portion as Paramatma, is present in everyone's heart. Such an understanding of the Supreme is real knowledge. As far as the bodies are concerned, in different caste or different species of life, the Lord is equally kind to everyone because he treats every living being as a friend, yet maintains himself as Paramatma regardless of the circumstances of the living entities. The Lord as Paramatma is present both in the outcast and in the Brahmana. Although the body of a Brahmana and that of an outcast are not the same. The bodies are material productions of different modes of material nature, but the soul and the supersoul within the body are of the same spiritual quality. The similarity in the quality of the soul and the supersoul, however, does not make them equal in quantity, for the individual soul is present only in that particular body, whereas the Paramatma is present in each and every body. A Krishna conscious person has full knowledge of this, and therefore he is truly learned and has equal vision. The similar characteristics of the soul and the supersoul are that they are both conscious, eternal, and blissful. But the difference is that the individual soul is conscious within the limited jurisdiction of the body, whereas the supersoul is conscious of all bodies. The supersoul is present in all bodies without distinction.
Yeah.
Yes, Puji. So here the symptom of a Prabhupada is telling who is a learned person. So Prabhupada is telling that one who sees with equal vision, like there are two extremes Prabhupada mentioned. One is a Brahmana, like he is one who gives knowledge to the other caste or other sections of the society, and one who is in the even the lowest one is the dog eater. And there are even different species mentioned. One is the cow, and Prabhupada is there is also mention of a dog. But a learned person, he sees them with equal vision. Now, this equal vision applies on the spiritual platform that he sees them that they are actually partal person of Krishna, that is the soul, and the Paramatma is present in everyone's body. So, a learned person, he penetrates to the outward coverings, the bodily coverings, and he sees them as the spirit soul. That is the meaning of this equal vision that is mentioned here. But that does not mean that a learned person he loses his distinction. So now there are two understanding of this that one Prabhupada mentions that a learned person he does not distinguish. So it means that a learned person, as he sees all the living entities as the part and parcel of Krishna, the child of Krishna, so he will not send the animals or the other species to the slaughterhouse and he will just give protection to his fellow human beings. No, he will not do that. He will try to elevate all the living entities to the spiritual platform or Krishna conscious platform. But also at the same time on bodily platform, there is we have to maintain this distinction because we will not, because all the tiger is also a child of Krishna, like, but one will not go and try to embrace a tiger. So Gauranga Darshan to gives this example.
Yeah.
So on bodily platform we maintain this distinction, but on spiritual platform we recognize their that they are part and parcel of Krishna. And also Prabhupada mentions in the purport the difference between the soul and the super soul. They are equal in quality, that both are Satchid Ananda, but they are different in quantity, that because this individual soul, he is conscious of his individual body, but as Paramatma, Lord is conscious of all the living entities because he is present in every living entity body.
So nicely explained. Thank you, bro. Nicely, almost covered so beautifully. You covered everything. So this is a key vision of a person who is a self-realized devotee. So the person who is self-realized, that the what kind of vision, what kind of spectacles he wears, that is being mentioned here. So we know brahmanas and cows are in mode of goodness. Elephant is in the mode of passion. Dog and dog eaters are in the mode of tamoguna. But a devotee who is a self-realized person, he sees beyond the modes. Basically, he does not see the modes. That is what is being mentioned here. So those people who are beyond the gunas, those who are gunatit, they have no desire to see any object made of gunas in the terms of this is a better guna, this is a bad guna. No, they have equal vision. Anyone affected by guna, actually in one way it is guna only. He is under gunas only, right now. So sometimes we compare wet stool and dry stool. Which stool is better? Wet stool is better or dry stool is better? There is a competition. So see, all are stool only, all are under gunas only. So he is okay. He may say ki best wet stool has some another purpose, and white stool, the dry stool of a cow dung, the dry cow dung has another purpose, and the wet cow dung has another purpose. So both have some special purpose. But those who do not see those in mode of sattva as like some brahmana, cow, they are superior. Sometimes we do that distinction, that inferior, superior, but actually we have to learn to see them as spiritually equal. Spiritually equal. Bodily we have to make a distinctions. As Sandeep and Dhruv mentioned, we cannot embrace a tiger, or we can say, oh, ultimately we're equal. We can go and embrace a woman. Then every action will get an equal and opposite reaction. So we have to be careful. We have to be mindful of that. But this verse is praising those people, those who are on the those who have seen Paramatma in the hearts of everyone. So he said for them, it does not matter. They're really wise. Like there was one very special personality, Mother Teresa. So she used to say, although she like we are not here to compare, but she used to say one very important statement. So when she was in the Calcutta, and in the Calcutta, she used to go stay in the ghettos and help the poor people and downtrodden people. And sometimes because she was young in the initial days, sometimes people used to exploit her, or they used to make fun of her, and too much disturbance. But she said one thing: people do not love me, but I can love them. Now this statement is amazing statement. Huh? People may not love me, but I can love them. Now, this is a, you may say, ki, okay, because loving someone is in our hands. Now, if somebody does not love us, that does not mean that that is his fault. He is not loving me, but I can love them. So so she was a social worker. So she came and she loved people and she cared for people, and like that she raised raised them. So that's why she has become so famous today in the world. So people may not love me, but I can love them. That is her statement. So similarly, a person who is Paramatma realized has such consciousness. So now, so this verse is mainly speaking about developing a spiritual vision. Now, what will happen if somebody develops a spiritual vision? What are the benefits of a person who has developed spiritual vision? What are the symptoms of a person who has developed spiritual vision? That is what is being mentioned in the verse number 19, 20, 21. What are the benefits of a person, or what are the symptoms of a person who have developed spiritual vision? So 19th verse. Whose turn?
Hare Krishna.
Yes, bro.
इहैव तैर्जितः सर्गो येषां साम्ये स्थितं मनः दैर्दोषं हि समं ब्रह्म तस्मात् ब्रह्म ते स्थितः. Translation: Those whose minds are established in sameness and equanimity have already conquered the conditions of birth and death. They are flawless like Brahman, and thus they are already situated in Brahman. Equanimity of mind, as mentioned above, is the sign of self-realization. Those who have actually attained to such a state should be considered to have conquered material conditions, specifically birth and death. As long as one identifies with his body, he is considered a conditioned soul. But as soon as he is elevated to the stage of equanimity through realization of self, he is liberated from conditional. In other words, he is no longer subject to take birth in the material world, but can enter into the spiritual sky after the death. The Lord is flawless because he is without attraction or hatred. Similarly, when a living entity is without attraction or hatred, he also becomes flawless and eligible to enter into spiritual sky. Such persons are considered already liberated, and their symptoms are described below.
Yes, bro.
Like, just in short, in the previous verse, we were discussing about the when a person becomes elevated, I mean his consciousness. Like in the first line, it says that "Ihaiva tar jita sargo." That means like uh, he has conquered the birth and death. Like so, when like this condition achieved, when one is able to elevate himself above the mode. So like as uh, Prabhupada says in one of the purports, in one of the transcript, that when one go in Chaitanya Charitamrita, when one goes above the modes, so he sees no difference like this is bad or this is good in the material world, because everything is ultimately comes at the point that uh, this is kind of material bondage. So when one goes above the modes, he doesn't make any difference between like we were discussing in the previous verse, that he doesn't see any difference between cow and elephant and dog eater, like that. And now the like on this point, Prabhupada also gives one very beautiful example, that in the from the Ramayana, that once Vishwamitra Muni visited Maharaj Dashrath, and like he was asking him to like send Lord Ram, because there were like many demons were troubling him during the yajna. So he said he was asking Lord Ram's help. So at that time, when by like the moment when Maharaj Dashrath sees Vishwamitra Muni, he asks very beautiful question that like you are a mendicant, so how your life is going on? I mean, are you able to conquer the birth and death? So like Prabhupada says that that is the very purpose of this human form of life, that conquer the over the birth and death, and how one is able to achieve that when one elevates himself above the modes of nature. I mean, this goodness, passion, and ignorance, and in that way, like, and also like if this repetition of birth and death happens because one has a material desire, and now the second is like how that is one thing, and second is if one is able to do that, he is called as a nirdosha. So in the third line or fourth line of the verse, it is said that nirdoshan means flawless. So if one is able to do that, his life becomes faultless or flawless. uh, that means he is able to achieve that transcendental stage, and he is no longer under the material spell, like spell of a material nature, and that is the stage where we like talk about the Brahman stage over Brahman, and in that condition, like he is able to achieve that. He's able to, like, he's not distinguishing between the matter and like different types of matter and the body. Like,
Yeah. So can you tell me any similar shloka which has come, similar shloka which has come before in the second chapter, third chapter, or any chapter, something similar shloka that in happiness or distress, both is equal.
Master Sparsha Tantra.
Okay, matra sparshas to konteya, sitoshna sukha dukkha agama paina
Agama Paina
tamsatiksha bharat.
Tamstikshishva Bharat.
Okay, any other shloka?
Is Nirman Moha Jita Sangha Dosha? Is that one?
Oh, that is not yet come till now. Hmm. Any other? So the next shloka of this shloka, matra sparshas to konteya is which shloka number? Which one?
2.14.
Okay. So now open 2.15. So 2.15 is another shloka. See this one. This shloka is also memorization shloka only. So see. Yam hina vyathayanti ete purusham purusharshapha samadukha sukham dhiram swamrutatva kalpate. So 2.15. Because this chapter is called as Contents of Gita Summarized. It will have many themes which are even spoken ahead. So here it is also said, one who is steady, one who is not disturbed by happiness and distress, and is steady in both, it is eligible for liberation. Now there is a difference between this shloka and the shloka which is given, which Ravi Prabhu read just now. Now if you see, this shloka is spoken immediately after the knowledge of the soul. When somebody understands the knowledge of soul, that time also is not disturbed by happiness and distress. But the shloka which now recent Ravi Prabhu read just now is a shloka when somebody gets the knowledge of Paramatma. So there is a difference, little difference. Somebody gets the knowledge of Paramatma, he also becomes very steady. And somebody gets knowledge of soul, he also becomes steady. So, but he is somebody who has got the knowledge of Paramatma, his steadiness is different than this steadiness. So earlier, because till now Krishna has spoken only knowledge of soul to Arjuna. It's not spoken much about Paramatma in the second chapter. But here it is said the person who has attained sameness and equanimity, he said he has already conquered the birth and death. Like you see, the one of the very classic examples in this regard is Bharat Maharaj, Jad Bharat. Somebody is appreciating, somebody is garlanding him, not being disturbed. Somebody is torturing him, is not disturbed. So he said such a person has already attained the Brahman platform. He has like become very neutral to the dualities of this material world. So we find Srila Prabhupada also, when he went to the Western world, so he did not discriminate between hippies and Indians. Because if you really associate with hippies now, you will get fed up with them. The kind of the drinking habits. Can you imagine one thing? Suppose in your voice centers, whichever you are staying right now, all of you have some experience of managing a voice and all. In your voice center, suppose you have a devotee who is a drunkard. He sometimes goes and drinks and sometimes goes and smokes. What do you feel? Will you feel comfortable? और यू विल से प्रभु निकालो इसको तुरंत निकालो बाहर इसको. जस्ट इमेजिन कि आपका वो डिवोटी अगर भोगा ऑफरिंग कर रहा है, वो डिवोटी कुकिंग कर रहा है, क्या होगा हमारे साथ में? हम बोलेंगे नहीं खाना प्रभु जी. तो हमारा तो मीन्स या वी हैव टू एक्ट दैट वे, वी हैव टू टेक दैट डिसिप्लिनरी एक्शन. बट शिल प्रभुपाद का जो शिल प्रभुपाद का जो कंपैशन था, दैट केम, ही डिड नॉट सी द डिफरेंस एक्चुअली that he's a hippie, he's a dog eater, he's a meat eater, he's a malicha. No, he saw Paramatma, he saw the spark of Krishna consciousness in everyone's heart. And that's why Srila Prabhupada was able to preach so effectively. So he said, don't see the gunas. Gunas are like a dirt on the body of a person. So he said, but when he goes to shower of Krishna consciousness, all the dirt will become pure. He will become purified soon. So that's why do not see the dirt. So now, in the next upcoming shlokas, that is verse number 20 and 21 are, I think, together, 20 and 21. This verse number 20 and 21 are going to speak some symptoms. In case, suppose if we start feeling, Prabhu, am I that self-realized person? I also don't make any difference between boy and girl. I also sit together with the boys and girls. It doesn't make a difference. Like one devotee was telling me, प्रभु भक्ति में आने के पहले माता जी के साथ बैठते थे, बातचीत करते थे, कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता था प्रभु, इतना कॉमन था, बाइक पे भी घूमते थे, कुछ फर्क नहीं पड़ता है। लेकिन अभी तो एकदम माता जी बाजू से भी गई, गर्ल बाजू से भी गई तो एकदम दिमाग ब्रेन में एकदम क्या कहते हैं थोड़ा सा तहलका मच जाता है। Why it is like that? So is it appears as if that earlier I was very peaceful and equanimity was there, and now I have lost equanimity. As soon as this I see a woman, it appears as if बाप रे बहुत डर लगने लगता है। तो he said क्या हो रहा है? तो अगर किसी व्यक्ति को डर लग जाए, उसको लगता है कि मैं सेल्फ रियलाइज पर्सन पहले था और वॉइस में और इस्कॉन में आने के बाद मेरा सेल्फ रियलाइजेशन जा चुका है, तो अगला वर्ष बताता है सेल्फ रियलाइज पर्सन के सिम्टम्स क्या होते हैं। तो 19th वर्स, 20th वर्स। यस प्रभु, प्लीज रीड। क्वेश्चन
आ जाएगा मुस्लिम।
Prabhuji, 20 was of Swapnil Prabhu is absent and 21 is Avijit Prabhu.
ओके, अभिजीत प्रभु प्लीज रीड।
Yes, Priji. Na प्रसेद प्रियं प्राप्य नोद्विजेत प्राप्य च प्रियं स्थिर बुद्धिर असमूढ़ो ब्रह्मविद ब्रह्मणि स्थितः. Translation: a person who neither rejoices upon achieving something pleasant nor laments upon obtaining something unpleasant, who is self-intelligent, who is unbewildered, and who knows the science of God, is already situated in transcendence. Purport. The symptoms of the self-realized person are given herein. The first symptom is that he is not illusioned by the false identification of the body with its true self. He knows perfectly well that he is not this body, but is the fragmental portion of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He is therefore not joyful in achieving something, nor does he lament in losing anything which is related to this body. This steadiness of mind is called sthira buddhi or self-intelligence. He is therefore never bewildered by mistaking the gross body for the self or the soul, nor does he accept the body as permanent and disregard the existence of the soul. This knowledge elevates him to the station of knowing the complete science of the absolute truth, namely Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagavan. He thus knows his constitutional position perfectly well without falsely trying to become one with the Supreme in all respect. This is called Brahman realization or self-realization. Such steady consciousness is called Krishna consciousness. Yes, Praji. So in this purport, Prabhupada is mentioning the symptoms of self-realized person. So the first symptom is that he does not get illusion by identifying this body, identification of body with his true self. So in the his first symptom is sthira buddhi, means he does not get means he does not get lamented or he rejoice by achieving something unpleasant. So this is some first symptoms. And second is asammoda. Asammoda means unbewildered. Means by this sthira buddhi, he get to know the science of God, the means Brahman, Paramatma, Bhagavan.
So Priyam Prapya. Priyam Prapya means something pleasant if we attain in our life. So he said he's not disturbed by getting something pleasant in the life. And no द्विजेत प्राप्य च प्रियम, समथिंग कुछ ऐसी चीजें जो बिल्कुल प्रिय नहीं है, समटाइम्स प्रसादम में एकदम एकदम प्रियम चीजें प्राप्त जाती है हमको, वाओ अमेजिंग, टूट पड़ो। एंड समटाइम्स वी फाइंड देयर इज करेला का सब्जी, ओ हरी बोल आज नहीं खाएंगे। सो इसे पहला सिम्टम इधर ही। अगर आपको लगता है कि आप सेल्फ रियलाइज्ड हो, सबसे पहला सिम्टम देखना चाहिए कि फेलियर आने पर व्यक्ति डिस्करेज और मूड ऑफ होता है क्या, और सक्सेस आने पर बहुत एक्साइटमेंट आता है क्या। तो ये सेट, तो अगर ऐसा है तो वो सेल्फ, पहला सिम्टम सेल्फ रियलाइज नहीं है। उसकी बुद्धि जो है वो स्थिर बुद्धि रहती है, स्थिर बुद्धि, एंड इज नॉट is are not bewildered. So he said, such a person is considered to be on the person who has whose intelligence is a fixed intelligence. So purport also Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur writes a very nice thing here. He writes here, such a person is equal in the face of objects, both dear and not dear in this world. Attaining dear objects, he does not become too much happy. And attaining unwelcome objects, he does not become too disturbed. So he said, that is the potential mood of prahashriyat and udvijit stands for present in this verse can mean the person should practice that mood during the stage of sadhana. So हमें ऐसा यहाँ पे इसका मतलब क्या है, साधना साधन स्टेज पे होते वक्त भी हमें ये प्रैक्टिस करना है। ऐसा नहीं कि जब मैं एक दिन प्योर डिवोटी बन जाऊंगा, तो मैं जैसे आपको बता रहा था, जो भी हमारा गोल होता है उस गोल का एक छोटा गोल अभी आना पड़ता है, साधना स्टेज में आना पड़ता है। जो शुद्ध भक्त जो है, शुद्ध भक्त जो काम करता है वो साधक को भी करना पड़ता है उसका। अगर साधक जो है, शुद्ध भक्त जो काम कर रहा है वो साधक नहीं करेगा, तो कैसे वो धीमे धीमे अटेन करेगा। तो इस सेड कि शुद्ध भक्त उसको अच्छे कॉन्शियसनेस से करता है, आनंद से करता है। साधक वही चीजों को थोड़ा सा संघर्ष करके करता है, इसलिए उसका नाम साधक है। तो जो शुद्ध भक्त करता है वही चीज हमें साधक को करना है, लेकिन साधक जो है थोड़ा संघर्ष करके करता है। सो यहाँ पर ये एक प्रैक्टिस है। साधक, साधना मीन्स व्हाट, प्रैक्टिस, प्रैक्टिस प्योर डिवोशनल सर्विस। सो वी आर प्रैक्टिसिंग डिवोटी, लाइक वी आर प्रैक्टिस। एक इंटर्न होता है ना, इंटर्न, इंटर्न होता है, या जो फेलो होता है रिसर्च, तो जैसे डॉक्टर्स के केस में भी एक डॉक्टर होता है और एक प्रैक्टिसिंग डॉक्टर होता है। प्रैक्टिसिंग डॉक्टर कभी कभी गड़बड़ कर सकता है, तो हम साधक जो है हम कभी कभी गड़बड़ कर सकते हैं, लेकिन अल्टीमेटली दोनों का एक ही काम है। जो प्रैक्टिसिंग डॉक्टर है उसको भी ट्रीटमेंट देना है, डॉक्टर को भी ट्रीटमेंट देना है। डॉक्टर एकदम एक्सपर्ट है, तो प्योर डिवोटी जो है डॉक्टर के समान है, और जो इंटर्न है, इंटर्न डॉक्टर है, वो एक साधक के समान है। तो जब अगर हम चाहते हैं कि शुद्ध भक्त बनने के बाद व्यक्ति डिस्टर्ब नहीं होगा, ये नहीं होगा, तो हमें साधन स्टेज पे भी इन सब चीजों को प्रैक्टिस करना पड़ेगा। So that is what is mentioned. So next verse is also speaking a little more qualifications, little more symptoms of self-realized person. Yes, Prabhu, continue.
बाह्यस्पर्शस्व असक्तात्मा विन्दते आत्मनि यत् सुखं स ब्रह्मयोगयुक्तात्मा सुखम अक्षयम् अश्नुते. Such a liberated person is not attracted to material sense pleasure but is always in trance, enjoying the pleasure within. In this way, the self-realized person enjoys unlimited happiness, for he concentrates on the Supreme. Purport: Sri Yamunacharya, a great devotee in Krishna consciousness, said, Yad avadi mama chitta Krishna padar vinde navanavarasa padam dhamne udayatam rantum asid tad avadi bata nari sangam smaran mani bhavati bhavati mukha vikara shushtu nishti vanamcha. Since I have been engaged in transcendental loving service of Krishna, realizing ever new pleasure in him, whenever I think of sex pleasure, I spit at the thought, and my lips curl with disdain. A person in Brahma Yoga or Krishna consciousness is so absorbed in the loving service of the Lord that he loses his taste for material sense pleasure altogether. The highest pleasure in terms of matter is sex pleasure. The whole world is moving under its spell, and materialists cannot work at all without this motivation. But a person engaged in Krishna consciousness can work with greater vigor without sex pleasure, which he avoids. That is the taste in spiritual realization. Spiritual realization and sex pleasure goes ill together. A Krishna conscious person is not attracted to any kind of sense pleasure due to his being liberated soul.
Yeah. Yes, bro.
So Priji, in this shloka, so I was hearing the class of Prabhupada. So in that class, Prabhupada was telling the word of Atmaram. Atmaram means one who is. So in that class, Prabhupada gave example of gave definition of self-realized soul. So Prabhupada was telling one who is satisfied with his soul is called self-realized soul. So, and ahead also Prabhupada was telling the difference between materialist and spiritualist. Materialist means one who seeks pleasure externally by engaging in sense gratification, and spiritualist means one who finds pleasure internally. So Prabhupada very beautifully explained this in the purport that Krishna conscious person, he is absorbed in the loving service of the Supreme Lord. That like materialist, their motivation to work hard is to enjoy in sex, like. But the spiritualist, he's working very hard with more than more with more uh, vigor than the materialist for the service of the Lord, because he is finding spiritual happiness within himself. And the Prabhupada was also telling that this is the taste of spiritual self. This is the taste of self-realized person, that Krishna said. Taste in spiritualization is that spiritual realization and sex pleasure goes ill together. So, and Prabhupada gave example also of Yamanacharya, that how when he gets the thought of sex pleasure, he spit at the thought. So, uh, I just wanted to give one example that uh, जो रंगनाथ जी टेम्पल है, रंगनाथ जी टेम्पल में एक बार प्रोसेशन चल रहा था प्रभु जी, तो उस टाइम एक धनुर्दास करके एक डिवोटी थे, तो डिवोटी नहीं बट उन्होंने, तो उनकी जो वाइफ थी, उनके वाइफ तो रामानुजाचार्य थोड़े डिस्टेंस होके वो देख रहे थे सब कैसे धनुर्दास वो उनकी वाइफ को अम्ब्रेला मतलब पकड़ रहे थे, और प्रोसेशन इतना चल रहा था यहाँ पर कि वहां पर की पूरी मतलब पूरे मृदंग और वो वैसे सब आवाज हो रहा था प्रोसेशन का, बट ही वाज सो एब्जॉर्ब दैट ही वाज, मतलब वो जो उनकी वाइफ थी, उनके वाइफ की आंखों में वो देख रहे थे, तो रामानुजाचार्य थोड़े से मतलब शॉक हो गए कि अरे इतना प्रोसेशन चल रहा है और लॉर्ड वहां से जा रहे, तो लॉर्ड का प्रोसेशन छोड़ के वो उनकी वाइफ की आंखें देख रहे, तो फिर उन्होंने उनके जो शिष्य थे तो उनको भेजा कुरेश, और उनको बोला कि उनको यहाँ पर लेके आओ। तो फिर वो जब वो लेके आए, तो फिर रामानुजाचार्य ने उनको पूछा कि आप प्रोसेस लॉर्ड को छोड़ के आपके वाइफ की आंखों में क्यों देख रहे, तो वो बोले कि अ, अभी तक मैंने इतनी ब्यूटीफुल आइज कभी देखे नहीं, मतलब मेरे जो वाइफ की आंखें। तो फिर रामानुजाचार्य ने चैलेंज किया कि अगर मैं आपको उससे ब्यूटीफुल आया अगर दिखा दूंगा तो आप क्या करें, मतलब दिखाऊंगा तो आप दिखाऊंगा तो दिखाऊंगा मैं आपको। तो फिर रामानुजाचार्य उनको लेके जाते हैं लॉर्ड रंगनाथ जी के टेम्पल में, और तो फिर टेम्पल में जाने के बाद रामानुजाचार्य प्रे करते कि लॉर्ड रंगनाथ को कि आपके आंखें खुले और उनको दर्शन दे जैसे। तो फिर जाते, तो फिर धनुर्दास वो जब जाते और वो जब आंखें देखते लॉर्ड रंगनाथ के, तो देख के इतना ऑब्जर्व, मतलब वो बोलते कि अभी तक मैंने ऐसे ब्यूटीफुल आइज कभी देखे नहीं थे। तो फिर वो इवेंचुअली जाके रामानुजाचार्य के डिसाइपल बनते, और इवन जो वाइफ थी हेमाम्बा, वो भी आगे जाके रामानुजाचार्य की डिसाइपल बन के, और फिर वो वहाँ पर लॉर्ड रंगनाथ के टेम्पल में सर्विस करते। एंड सेकेंड एग्जाम्पल, लाइक जो प्रपात के मतलब हिप्पीज, तो एक बार ऐसे हुआ था कि जब प्रपात आए थे टेम्पल में, तो एक ड्यूड थे, उन्होंने प्रपात को दंडवत मारा। दंडवत मारने के बाद जो ऊपर वाली जेब में चॉकलेट था, तो वो गिर गए वो प्रपात के सामने, तो प्रपात ने देखा, तो प्रपात बोले कि ये चॉकलेट खा रहे, तो फिर प्रपात खुद गए किचन में और उन्होंने हलवा बनाया, लॉर्ड को ऑफर किया और फिर दिया। तो फिर उन्होंने जब हलवा खाया तो बाद में कभी उन्होंने चॉकलेट लिया नहीं। तो अ, इन दो एग्जांपल से हम देख सकते हैं कि कैसे कि जब हम भगवान की सर्विस में मतलब सिम्टम्स ऑफ सेल्फ रियलाइज्ड पर्सन दैट when he engages in the transcendental service of the Lord, he does not get bewildered in the material sense pleasure.
Amazing. So nice. Two stories, two powerful examples you have given of Dhanurdas and also of Haridas Prabhu, who was attracted to the chocolates, Cadbury chocolate. So, so there are a total 8 symptoms which are being mentioned in this two shlokas, 20 and 21. I'm just putting those in chat box for you. So 8 symptoms are being mentioned, which self-realized person has. So one is which one? Okay, well, I think I have just put it, copy pasted. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Doesn't rejoice something pleasant, doesn't lament for something unpleasant. He has fixed intelligence, he is unbewildered, he knows the science of God, he is situated in transcendence, he is attracted to material pleasure, he enjoys pleasure within and realizing Paramatma. So he said that these are the 8 symptoms which are being mentioned in this two upcoming in this last two shlokas. So somebody is on the Paramatma, somebody has understood Paramatma. So he said such a person is not attracted by the materialistic pleasures of the world because he just sees all the dresses like simply a mere coating on the body. So and so ultimately everyone in this world works with some impetus. There is a need of some impetus to work. So for materialistic people, Prabhupada is mentioning the highest happiness is sex pleasure. And because of that, entire world is moving. You see, let's look at, if you just look at the world outside, the materialistic people, the main motivation which is there to run the home, to run the home, then to get the apartments, to get the cars, to go for the business, and to get big careers, to get big degrees, is ultimately this only. Very few people have some other goals in their life for which they are working. Very somebody maybe are dedicated to nation, somebody, but very few people like that. Major people are going for career. Major people are doing engineering, going to foreign universities. Education is only for with a desire of some pleasure and materialistic pleasures. But he said a devotee of Lord is not after this materialistic pleasure. So how to understand? So how to become yogi? So he said first of all we have to stop becoming bhogi. To become a yogi, to get the pleasure inwards, one has to stop becoming bhogi. It is very important because Krishna consciousness and sense gratification go ill together. So till the time we keep the doors open to the Maya, we should not expect that one day I'll become yogi. Even if you practice Krishna consciousness, keep on practicing, keep on practicing. But we have kept the door to Maya also open. So how can we expect that? Like suppose at the night when we go, we sleep in the mosquito net. We sleep inside mosquito net, but we don't close the mosquito net door. Machars will come and they will bite us. So we have to close properly. We have to safeguard ourselves. So similarly, a devotee of the Lord should, and when he's focusing on the inward pleasures, when he's trying to become yogi, at the same time he should stop his bhog mentality. And how to stop bhoga mentality? That's why Krishna is speaking from verse number 22, 23, and 22 and 23. Krishna is going to speak about you have to learn to talk, you have to understand that sense gratification is a miserable thing. It is going to produce a lot of distress in your life. You'll be depressed when you do sense gratification, unless one is firmly convinced that one is wasting his time in sense gratification. Till that time, he will not be able to give sense gratification. So one has to learn what are the side effects, what are the consequences which he is suffering, what are the disadvantages of sense gratification. So when one understands this carefully and intelligently, he will not engage in sense gratification. So one has to understand. So sense enjoyment is ultimately distressful. So he said the next shloka is going to speak about the 22nd verse. So today we'll try to cover this last shloka, 22nd, and then remaining 4 5 shlokas will complete in the next session. 22nd one, the very famous shloka.
ये हि संस्पर्शजा भोगा दुःखयोनेव जीवते आद्यन्तवन्त कौन्तेय न तेषु रमते बुधा. Translation: An intelligent person does not take part in sources of misery which are due to contact with material senses. O son of Kunti, such pleasures have a beginning and an end. and so the wise man does not delight in them. Purport. Material sense pleasures are due to the contact of the material senses, which are all temporary because the body itself is temporary. A liberated soul is not interested in anything which is temporary. Knowing well the joys of transcendental pleasures, how can a liberated soul agree to enjoy false pleasures? In Padma Puran, it is said, Ramante yogi no anante satyanande chidatmani iti ram padenasho param brahma vediyate. The mystics derive unlimited transcendental pleasures from the absolute truth, and therefore the supreme absolute truth, the personality of Godhead, is also known as Rama. In Srimad Bhagavatam, also it is said, Nayam deho deha bhajam de loke, kastan kaman arhati vidbhujam ye. Tattva divyam putraka yena sattvam, shuddhayet yasmad brahma saukyam tom anantam. My dear sons, there is no reason to labor very hard for sense pleasure. While in this human form of life, such pleasures are available to stool eaters, hogs. Rather, you should undergo penances in this life by which your existence will be purified. And as a result, you will be able to enjoy unlimited transcendental bliss. Therefore, those who are true yogis or learned transcendentalists are not attracted by sense pleasures, which are the cause of continuous material existence. The more one is addicted to material pleasures, the more he is entrapped by material miseries. So, Prabhuji, in previous verses, we discussed that how liberated characteristics of liberated soul, that he is equanimous in his mind, then he does not rejoice in pleasurable or unpleasant situations. And the last one we saw that liberated person is not attracted to material sense pleasures because he is always engaged in devotional service and derives all the pleasures from it. So, in this verse, we are seeing like if one is doing material things, is engaged in material sense gratification, so why a liberated person does not engage in that thing? The first thing is that the material senses are the sources of misery. So that's why this is the first reason. And the second reason here it is mentioned that all the such material pleasures have beginning and end. So that's why one does not delight in them. So Prabhupada explains in purport that those who are liberated persons, what is their actually the thinking process, how they think about these material pleasures or the transcendental pleasures they are getting. So one of the quotes here is in Padma Puram that Ramante Yogine Vanante. So actually a liberated soul gets unlimited transcendental pleasures through the service of the Lord. So in contradiction to the material pleasures, we see that the material pleasures are all temporary, which has beginning and end. So that's why a transcendentalist thinks that why to engage in such futile pleasures. Better is to do Lord's service and get unlimited happiness. And second verse quoted herein is from Srimad Bhagavatam that Nayam Devo Devajam Niloke. That a transcendentalist knows that whatever a materialistic person is doing, like working hard, like hogs and dogs, for achieving something which is not, what do you say, the pleasure which we are going to get is not that much satisfying. Still, he works hard. So this transcendentalist person can know very well, because a person grossly engaged in these activities who does not have the knowledge of absolute truth is ignorant of this fact that these pleasures are very temporary. So there comes one example that when a carrot is hanged in front of a donkey, he thinks that if I walk for some time, I'll get the carrot. But we know a learned person knows that however he must try to get that carrot, but he will not get that carrot by whatever amount of endeavor. So we can understand from this example that the donkey is ignorant of this fact. That's why he labors so hard to get material enjoyment. But third person who is observing that one donkey, which is a transcendentalist, can know the fact that he's not going to get that ultimate pleasure by working so hard.
Yeah. So basically, very, very big, very famous verse. I think it will require a lot of discussion. So it is not only about so you said when one is convinced that this is not the proper thing to be done, he will be not doing that activity. But still we find, even after becoming a devotee, not what to speak about materialistic person, even after becoming a very advanced devotee also, the nature of sense gratification is such that because we have experience of sense gratification from so many lifetimes, and bhakti experience we have only in this lifetime. So that's why we are very vulnerable to Maya. Even after becoming a senior devotee, so-called senior devotee, we may again and again repeatedly fall prey to sense gratification. So, what is the reason that a devotee also falls prey to sense gratification again and again, despite of hearing, despite of experiencing, despite of doing everything? A devotee also falls prey to sense gratification. So, we'll try to cover this theme in the next class, whenever it is there. Which day that is? That is in the, I think, 7th and 8th May. Okay, we'll try to cover this on this theme. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Devotees can give their darshan, then we'll stop. You can switch on your cameras for 30 seconds, then we'll stop. Vancha kalpatarubhasya kripa sindhubhe vatsa patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Anantakoti Vaishnav Vrinda ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Prabhus. We'll cover this next time.